Fractions can be represented in two different ways. They can either be represented as parts of a whole or as parts of a set. Now, parts of a whole, we want to think of things like pies, pizza, cakes, candy bars. Those things can all be parts of a whole. If we have a cake, there's one whole cake there, and we cut it into different pieces. For example, we can pretend this here is a cake. I can cut that cake into four different pieces, or 8 different pieces. And so each one of these pieces is part of the whole. Now, when I'm splitting parts of a whole apart, it's important that each piece, each part of that, has to be an equal piece or an equal part, or it's not divided into equal fractions. I can pretend this here is, let me make it a rectangle, a candy bar, and I can split this candy bar into parts as well. So once again, this is parts of a whole. So I had a whole candy bar to begin with, and I split it into different parts or different pieces. So when I'm dealing with parts of a whole, it is one whole thing that I'm splitting into pieces or that I'm splitting into parts. Think of cakes, think of a whole pizza, think of a whole candy bar. And then I can do parts of a set. With parts of a set, for this example here, I have circles, and I have moons, and I have stars. Now, these are parts of a set because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different things, but they're each their own individual thing. They don't belong to a part of a whole. They are their own things. So parts of a set are like cupcakes. When you get a box of cupcakes, there's a whole bunch of different cupcakes in the box. They're each their own separate individual cupcake. They're each their own separate part of the set. So this here, there's 8 total pieces, and 3 of them are circles. So 3/8 would be circles. And once again, parts of a set, when we're thinking of those, we want to think of like Skittles or M&Ms. So how many of them would be red? How many of them would be green? So they're not a part of a whole thing that's been broken apart, but they're each their own individual piece. Now, with parts of a set, they don't have to be the same size. Notice my moon is not the same size as my star, my moon's not the same size as my circle. They can be different sizes and still be part of the same set and worth the same amount in the set. Each one of these is worth 1 in the set. So once again, parts of a whole are when a whole thing has been broken down into equal parts. Parts of a set is when you have many different things to begin with. Parts of a whole, think of cake, think of pizza, think of pie. Parts of a set, think of M&Ms, think of Skittles, think of cupcakes.